Welcome to the Wally Show precast here, where we get to some of the stuff that we didn't get to during the show, because we plan a lot of things, and then sometimes some things just happen. Our friends, our Canadian friends, the Clausens, John and Liz Clausen, swung by today. They are all the way in from Canada and are visiting the States here. Like, how easy is it for you guys to get across the border? Was it a night crossing, or?
We start off by canoe and dog sled, and
Good.
then once we get to Niagara Falls, New York, we rent a car.
Fantastic. Okay, good. And so you guys make it in okay. You know, Trump wants to build that wall. I think he's building it on the wrong border. Now, I met the Clausens years ago on a music boat cruise, and we've kind of just stayed in contact ever since. And I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys coming in. They actually found a donut place here in town that we didn't even know existed. How is that possible? And you guys brought us donuts, so thank you very much. But how did you find that place?
Canadians were known for donuts, so we've got an app, so it actually locates where we could go.
We didn't have any Tim Nortons. So.
Canadian reference?
Yes.
It's
Fantastic.
Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons. Totally.
He is a Canadian.
Yes.
See, you were testing him.
But he should have apologized to me.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, my goodness. What's really funny, though, is the Clausens show up, and they were going to be here at 8 o'clock, and I knew this. I even told everyone on the show, I said, hey, we got the Clausens coming in today, and then I forgot that we leave the front door locked because people want to hurt me sometimes. And all of a sudden, I look up, I'm like, oh no! And I go up to the front, and there they are, and it's freezing today. And I'm like, hey, guys, how long have you been there? He's like, oh, only about 5 minutes. And I'm like, oh, well, you're Canadian. You can take that. So we didn't freeze you too badly, did we?
No, it's ironic, though. The temperature this morning, I was checking on our phone, and it's colder here than it is back home.
Than in Canada?
It's time to head north again, yeah.
Yes, yeah. We got to get out of this freezing weather.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Last time we were here, you guys had the school shut down, and there was no snow or...
Oh, we do that all the time.
Yeah, we do. They're like, there might be a dusting of snow tomorrow. Let's cancel it for the whole week, just to be safe.
My daughter has loved living here. She's gotten more snow days with no actual snow. It's amazing. Like, you could still, I think she went to the mall last time, like they shut down schools because it gets cold, and if it gets icy, they shut them down too, because we have a lot of rural roads and stuff. And so they shut it down.
Tennessee isn't exactly equipped to take care of the roads. They don't really have a ton of salt trucks and plows. So I get it, but at the same time, it just seems so ridiculous when they're never in school.
Yeah, our town's winter plan is they have a pickup truck, and then they get 50-pound bags of salt, and they go around to intersections and just kind of spread it by hand.
Yeah, just from Kroger. Not special salt. They go to Kroger.
Table salt.
Yeah, exactly. There's a guy out there with a shaker, and he's just shaking for all he's worth.
Open up those little packets from the restaurant.
Yes. All the ones from McDonald's. Oh, my goodness. So, yeah, we're not prepared like you guys are, but you guys are headed home today, like a 12-hour drive. Wow. I can't do that.
Hour driving. We like driving.
Do you really? I can't do that. That's way too long.
3 Chick-fil-A's and we'll be home.
Yeah. Do you have Chick-fil-A in Canada?
Oh.
Closest one is Erie, Pennsylvania, about 60 miles away.
Oh, well, that's worth a drive.
Oh, yeah.
Is there still a line around it for lunch, too?
Yeah.
What in the world is going on with that place?
That's why they're driving back on a Monday instead of a Sunday.
Yes, exactly. So you can Chick-fil-A it the whole way home. Well, we appreciate you guys coming by and actually bringing us treats and stuff as well. It's great to see you guys. Somebody that also loves the show, they... maybe not quite as much as the Clausens, but they love it a lot because they posted on Facebook, Wally, I think maybe as a Christian radio DJ, some of your content is inappropriate. You should spend more time telling people about the Lord and less time telling your ridiculous jokes. My jokes are ridiculous. I understand you need ratings. Trust me, none of this has to do with ratings. But you have the perfect opportunity to change lives for the better. And there are actually times where I wonder if you're even a Christian. Oh, my goodness. I'm in no way saying you're a bad person. Wow, that's getting next level there. Like, to judge somebody's salvation because they don't proselytize like you do, that's kind of, I hadn't read this yet, I was just reading that cold. That's kind of hurtful, honestly. Like, I get if you don't like the show or if I'm not religious enough for you, but to take that next leap and go, oh, I doubt you're a Christian, like, that's that's next level. You might want to check yourself, because there are verses in the Bible about that, Holmes. About like getting that speck out of your eye before you look for the plank in mine. But as a non-Christian, I don't know where to find those.
See, this is why I responded to this message before even telling you about it. Like, I'll just sign this as me. I'll respond as me.
The beautiful thing, though, is there's enough in here that I can send this to Matthew West and give him another hate mail song to do. Because Matthew West made me promise that I would only send my crazy emails to him and him alone to do to put the hate mails to song.
There was a bidding war for the exclusive rights.
Yeah,
and
this one would count. There's a lot. There's probably more in there, Zach. Is there more in there that's worth going into?
No, I mean,
okay.
They basically, they laid out their thesis nicely there, and then they just elaborate on there for a few hundred words.
All right. Well, here's the deal. Let me and maybe you've had that same thought. I'm not gonna say that hasn't crossed people's minds. I know this is different than a lot of other Christian shows that are out there, and there's the K-Loves of the world, the Fishes of the world, the Air Ones, all of that stuff, and it's great. I'm glad that it's there, and it serves a specific type of person. This show is designed to not serve that same type of person. We just do it differently, and it's okay. Because the thing about this, and I will stand by this, because not of what I believe, but because of what I've been told by people that listen to this show, is that the dumb, silly things, the things that people like this person that emailed or that posted this, that seem to not have any value, have value. They do. They change people's lives. And that's how God is bigger than all of us, and the way we see things, or the way we think it has to be done. God works outside of that. And God will take the dumb, silly, innocuous things that seem inane or like babble. And I get email all the time from people going, you have no idea what a bad place I'm in, and you guys made me laugh today, and it changed my heart, and that ultimately is what we're about. And it is about connecting people with Jesus. However, and whether it's through serious things, because we have those moments, and when they happen, they're amazing, and it's great to have people share their stories. But then by the same token, we do silly things, and I get more responses from people about the silly things meaning something to them than I do about the real serious, like what seems like a slam dunk God moment. And I swear to you that's the truth, because I get it every day like that. And so that's the way we approach this. And so, if I'm not religious enough for someone, so be it. That's fine. I know where my heart is, and I know where I stand.
Well, and their attack on doing things for ratings sounds like it's more spiritual and stuff, but like the Great Commission is very clear about going into all the world. If you're doing in our case, a radio show that only appeals to Christians, or only appeals to a small holy group, you're not going further into the world. Like our mission statement is to influence people, and so an important part of that equation is people. And so if you're not doing stuff that brings more people in, you can't accomplish your mission. Yeah,
what's funny about that too is that, like, having ratings, having a bigger platform is actually a good thing. And the funny thing is we are seeing big ratings for this show, and I think that it's because of the normalcy of it. And I think that that's a God thing. Honestly, that's not us, because again, I can go anywhere and do radio and make way more money than I make here. And so I do this because there's a value to it, and it is cool to sit back and see how God uses it when you hear people's stories about the impact that it makes on them.
Yeah, and in some of our markets, I mean, we're number one of all the stations.
Not the Christian stations.
No, of all the stations in that 18 to 34 range, which that means a lot of people are listening to, something of value.
And if this was about ratings, you would hear me talking about that all the time. Because when like secular stations are number one somewhere, they run promos and sweepers, bing, zing, pow, number one here, blah, blah, blah. They shout it from the rooftops. We don't talk about that stuff, because it's like, we're thankful as all get out for it, but we don't talk about it. We don't spend time on it because the other stuff is more important. So there you go. That's fun. Again, you can post anything you want, and that's the beauty of it. I'll tell you that when you call my faith into question, it frustrates me and it hurts me, but I'm like not mad at this person, because this person, honestly, if you're living in that world where everything has to be about Jesus every moment. Maybe that's how they have to live now because they've been pulled out of something really messy and you go to that extreme. It's okay. You know what? And I don't live my life like that and I'm fine with that. And I'm not going to hate on them like I used to. See, that's growth for me because I used to would have made fun of that person and just ripped them apart. And a lot of times I'm learning to look through the comments, and sometimes you see that there's a lot of other hurt going on behind somebody when they reach out and they go after you, even in a religious way, even thinking I'm okay, I'm a healthy Christian, but that comment there says there's something still not healthy there and stuff. So there you go. Whatever. It's totally cool. Something else that we wanted to get to. I had an email from somebody that said it was from Josiah, and he was asking about something from last week's podcast. We had a show lunch at Famous Dave's, and we were like, hey, anybody that wants to come out, we got t-shirts, we'll bring them with us, come surprise us and make us look good in front of our boss. And so Josiah was like, so hey, I have to ask, did anyone show up at your staff lunch and get a t-shirt? The answer, Josiah, is no. Absolutely no one.
In all fairness, though, the podcast didn't go up till like half an hour or an hour before we got there. So the odds of someone...
No, I rushed to get it done that day. Excuse me.
And the Clausens weren't here from Canada yet because they would have shown up because they listen to the podcast. Yeah, they would have been here otherwise.
If lunch was at Chick-fil-A, they would have made it.
Yeah. What's really funny about that, though, is we were like in a little off room, and so every time someone would walk by, Zach and I both would look at the person and then look at each other and then like have a sad look on our faces. Yeah, like, oh, it didn't happen. Well, that's really sad. So there you go. No one likes us, and it's obviously not about ratings. Let's talk about this a little bit. We were talking about David Bowie in Betty Rock's Least of These and how David Bowie passed away. And all of a sudden, like it shocked Becca, and she's not even a David Bowie fan.
No, I couldn't name one David Bowie song, but it's still sad.
Yeah.
I can't quite explain it, but everyone knows who David Bowie is.
I think that's that weird thing about when celebrities die, because we see them as above everything else, like nothing else affects them. They have perfect lives and stuff, and then you go, oh wow, they are just like us. They die the same way. But it is kind of shocking, kind of thing, and it makes you go. But Zach, you didn't really know much of Bowie.
I can't name a song.
Can you name one song?
No.
Really? Betty Rock, you're an old soul. Can you name one song?
No, I know he wore a blue eyeliner.
Yeah, that was in the Ziggy Stardust days.
Hair. You and him kind of have the same hair.
Yeah, we do, actually. Yeah, that was Ziggy Stardust days.
No, I've known nothing.
I think he was in Zoolander for a scene.
Wait,
yeah.
He was the guy that sang with Bing Crosby.
He did one song.
Boy.
Yes, you're right.
That's all I know.
He also sang with, who was it? I forgot. There was another big song, Under Pressure with Queen. Under Pressure. Yeah. See, if I start singing songs, you'll know.
Right.
Rebel, rebel, your face has a mask. Rebel, rebel. No?
No.
Okay, that was one.
Maybe when he sings it.
Maybe, but I sang it just like him. Ziggy Stardust, no. The Clausens, no, because they're old like me. Suffragette City. No? Suffragette City?
Suffragette City? That sounds horrible.
No, it's not. That's Suffragette. There's a movie.
Voting.
The women's movement.
Yeah, that's a weird...
The women's movement.
That's a weird
The women's
song.
movement about getting them to vote.
Oh, the movement. I thought you said movie.
No, well, it is a movie. It's a movie called Suffragette.
Right.
And it's about that whole movement. Fame. What to do to make it
I've heard that one.
Fame. That one, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's good. Okay. Let's dance. Put on your red shoes and dance the blues. This is a moving tribute, by the way, to this man and his music that none of you know. Modern love. Ooh, modern love. No, really?
This is entertaining. Though.
Yeah, well, I'm out of them. Those are all the ones I know. But none of those.
So I know a couple.
Yeah. You know
Under
a few.
Pressure is definitely, I think, one of the biggest ones.
Under Pressure.
And that wasn't even him.
Well, he's a collaboration.
With somebody
Yeah, it
else.
was him. It was him and Queen. But yeah, all right. Well, there you go. I thought you guys would be able to name at least one David Bowie song, but no such luck. All right. Let me see. I'm trying to figure out what all we... Oh, you had mentioned that a friend of ours got married recently.
Yeah, I thought you'd be at the wedding.
I couldn't. My wife was sick. We were all set to go, and she was sick. I didn't have an invitation, and I think that was the only thing that kept me from going.
Colton Dixon, got married.
Yeah, Colton. I can't believe that. Do you remember when you put him on the spot here on the show? Do you remember that?
I think that's the first time he announced anywhere.
Yeah, because he hadn't talked about it, and I made some off-the-cuff thing just fishing like I do. I fish a lot in interviews, and put him on the spot, and he admitted that he wanted to ask this girl to marry him.
It was a while later, though, that he eventually did.
Yeah, I want to say like 6 or 8 months maybe later, something like that.
Because he proposed at Night of Joy, right?
I think so, yeah.
I'll never forget that day he was in because you made me get on the scale next to him.
That was the same day?
Yeah.
Yeah, I weighed Becca and Colton to see who weighed more, and Colton was more uncomfortable than Becca, I think. But he came in like at 130-something, soaking wet. It was funny. She trounced him.
We have the audio of the engagement. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Do you have that? Hang on one second. Let me get that loaded up there. Confirm or deny, you are about to pop the question to the lady in your life.
Oh, gosh. That is a terrible question to ask.
I know.
She's chilling in Franklin right now, probably listening, so...
Really? Oh, snap! Really? I did not even know that.
Probably soon.
Here's the deal. Really? I was just fishing. I didn't even know you were dating anybody. That's what I do. Yeah. I get more people to tell me stuff they don't want to tell me by thinking I know what I'm talking about. It's fantastic.
That's how you get through life, thinking you know what you're talking about.
Yes, I don't know. You could fill a thimble with what I know, and so I just fake it. I fake it till I make it. That's how I've done my whole career. So congratulations, Mr. Colton Dixon, finally tying the knot.
Let's talk about no invites for a second and talk about other things that didn't arrive in the mail.
Oh, yeah, that's a good topic.
The other day on the show, Zach, Betty, and myself discovered that we never received Christmas cards.
That is correct. My wife's oversight.
From Wally and his family.
Yes.
And so we just assumed that maybe Wally had them in his bag, forgot to give them.
Thank goodness that was not the case, because I would have gotten in trouble for that.
It's much worse.
Yeah, I actually asked, I did some digging, and I went home and I said, honey, why didn't you send everyone on the show a Christmas card this year? Because I know you love the Christmas cards. Why didn't you do that? And she's like, why are you bringing this up? I'm like, well, because we talked about it on the air. She's like, oh, great. And the reason that she didn't send them is because she ran out of cards.
Oh.
And, look at Betty's face. Oh, you wouldn't.
So we're on that list.
You wouldn't have even wanted one anyway.
It doesn't matter. She could have got construction paper and written something heartfelt.
You wouldn't have cared. You wouldn't have cared.
Well, no, but still.
Yeah, but no, see, now it's an issue just because you feel left out. But no, she ran out of cards, and I guess she had to decide, kind of like if you're in a fire and you can only save one person, and there's 4 there, who do you pick? And so
I've never received a Christmas card from you.
No, that's not true.
That is true, because I keep all of my Christmas cards on our fridge all year round because I'd like to see people's faces, and you are not on my fridge.
We did not do one last year, in fairness.
How do we know?
No, we did, honest, truthful, because I got in trouble for not coming up with the Christmas card in time. I don't know how that got delegated to me. I cannot stand doing Christmas cards. We used to do them for the show, and I hate doing Christmas cards.
Do you think your wife could put together a Christmas card that you wouldn't just micromanage from start to finish?
Yes, because I don't care. I keep telling her, I'm like, just go to Shutterfly or Costco, write whatever you want, throw whatever picture on there. I don't care. And I'm like, people just want to see a picture of your family. That's all they care about. And so she, this year, started in on me again about coming up with a thing. And I thank the Lord I came up with the idea in 30 seconds. And I'm like, the caption will be, have your selfie a merry little Christmas. And we'll take a selfie with a selfie stick. And that's what
that would be an awesome Christmas card.
I wish I had seen that.
Gosh.
Yeah, that would look great on your fridge, huh? Yeah, sorry about that. Next year, you guys will get, you know what, I'll send 2 cards to each of you next year to somehow make up
as long as
for it.
one of them's a gift card.
Yeah. All right, that is going to do it for the precast. On with the podcast. This is the Wally Show, and before we even start talking about this, you have to just agree to not judge any of us, all right? Please, please, please save the emails, because I will not address this after the show at all. Zero. I have zero tolerance for this one, okay? Lottery. There you go. Who in the room bought a lottery ticket over the weekend for the big, $675 million drawing. Quick. Becca?
Totally did.
Yeah, Betty?
I forgot about it.
Atta girl. Zach?
My wife made me.
I can't believe you of all people are the last person in the world I would expect to do that.
Well, she's always talked about buying a lottery ticket that's been on her bucket list for some reason.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
And I'm frustrated. She wasn't with me.
Yeah.
I was going out to get groceries and she texted and she needed to be there for the experience.
Yeah, see, I did, but I was at home. They do the drawing like at 10:59 or something like that, or 11:59, I forget what time. But I was at home, already down for the night, like not going to go out. And I was like, I was going to get a lottery ticket, and I didn't. And my wife's like, well, don't worry about it. You're not going to win anyway. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. But there's that one little thing in your head that's like, I don't know.
But if I had bought one, I would have won.
Yeah, but do you know why I went? And it has nothing to do with myself making $675 million. I went to honor a promise that I made to some really great people on the week before, when I said, if I win, I will give everyone on the show enough money to retire. And that was in the back of my mind, where I'm like, and it was kind of the deal I was making with God. And because don't you do that when you get the lottery ticket?
Totally.
You're like, Lord, just okay.
Think of all the good I can do.
I know. Oh my gosh, I'm going to start an orphanage in India. How do you not want that, Lord? But I was like, I'm going to honor that thing because I've said it. And so I went and got a lottery ticket in the hopes that I would win so that I could have you guys retire too.
Not going to lie, after our numbers didn't match, there was that little hope in the back of my head. I'm like, well, maybe Wally will pull this one
yes.
out. Come on, Wally.
What's really funny is you had that hope, and then I was hoping, I hope none of them win, because we did not have a reciprocal deal. Like, not one of you said, oh, well, if I'll win, I'll share it with you, Wally. This is the Wally Show, and I have a bone to pick with women, just in general.
Okay.
Yeah, this ought to go well. This is something that you guys tend to do. I know not everybody and every woman does this, but most women do this. They downplay the illnesses of their husbands constantly. Like, oh, my husband is such a baby when he gets sick. Oh, all he does is whine and this, that, and the other. Like, I almost have a feeling you would do that to Joey too. Like, come on, man up, let's go.
I've never said man up, but I have had the thought of really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. See, I got really, really sick over the Christmas break, okay? And so I was down, and I didn't go to the doctor for a long time. I had no energy. I had night sweats. I was sweating through my clothes. I'd have to change my clothes a couple times a night. Like, it was bad. And I would get these shivers, just uncontrollably, teeth chattering, in the bed just shivering, and then apparently I was just making noises. Like, I'd just go, and I didn't even know it. So my wife is making fun of me a little bit for the shivering, downplaying it, thinking that I'm overplaying it, and then the Lord got her. He got her sick so that she could, so that he could teach her a lesson.
Not the virus, the Lord.
No, the Lord. And so that he could teach her what I was going through and teach her a lesson, a God lesson. And I love that. Thank you, Jesus.
So she caught what you had?
She caught what I had, and to the point where we had to take her to the doctor. I missed church on Sunday because we were in the doctor's office, and she is sick, all kind of sick. Guess what? Shivering uncontrollably, coughing where you can't get it up, and your chest hurts, your head hurts, your bones hurt, every bit of you hurts, making little noises for no reason. Yeah, she's got it all.
I can only assume she has it worse then if she's complaining about it.
No, she doesn't have it worse.
I think you were just whining.
That's the problem. She doesn't have it worse. Has the exact same thing. I've been able to tell her everything that's going to happen to her. And I feel bad that she's sick, obviously. But there was part of me that felt really good when she looks at me and through her little puffy eyes is like, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was this bad. I'm like, yeah, it was pretty bad. and I've been like such a good caretaker for her. Like I've been getting her everything. I've been doing everything. Anna's birthday, Zach's daughter, I bought the gift. I wrapped the gift. I bought the card. I wrote in the card. Like all the things she would normally do, I did. And so like I've been taking care of her. When I was sick, the whole family went out to dinner without me. you know. So there's my bone to pick.
I will admit I've been there before where Joey's been sick and I'm teasing him and stuff, and then I come down with the same thing and I'm like, can you bring me some water?
Yes.
Can you lift it to my cold lips?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what we're going through. But now I'm just in damage control mode because I'm trying to get her better quickly to get her on a plane to go to Africa. And so she is struggling through that. But when the doctor, I figured it was the flu, and the doctor's like, no, it's viral. And so the only prescription was like take a bunch of ibuprofen to keep your fever down. She had like 103 fever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Stay away from her.
Seriously.
Yeah, she's pretty sick and whining. So
Why do we have to tell the people what they need to hear?
Why can't the news be fun?
It's the Wally Show News.
And Becca is going to get you caught up right now with what's going on. What you got?
With no winning ticket sold for the jackpot on Saturday night, the Powerball is now expected to be at least 1.3 billion.
I can't even fathom. Like I get it if you work your whole life and you like become successful and make that kind of money. I can't even fathom the horrible decisions you would make getting $1.3 billion overnight, because you're obviously going to buy a plane to take you to the grocery store or a helicopter. That's a must. You're obviously going to get a giant horse statue in your front yard. No, check that unicorn. These are the things you're going to spend that kind of money on.
I was talking to my husband. He's like, we need at least 3 cars. I need my everyday driving around car, my sports car, and a truck to tow the boat.
Yes.
Like, really? This is why we maybe shouldn't with the buddy.
Yeah, exactly. That's why the Lord did not let you win, because he knew Joey would have, waste it on things.
Exactly.
There is that fun thing, okay? And I know, like the lottery, people have different opinions about that. We all, in full disclosure, bought a ticket, but it was like, you do have that moment where you're like fantasizing about all the things that you could do with it, for sure, and it's fun. And you're like, oh my goodness. But I did, in all seriousness, not to like make a deal with God, but I did start thinking, okay, this is kind of like a ministry I'd like to start. And then I also did say I'd buy Toby Mac.
Just for me.
Yeah, just for me. So I just play shows for me. That'd be great. But I mean, some good could come out of it.
Totally. But to totally burst your bubble, you're 25 times more likely to become president of the United States than to win the Powerball.
I would take that over the Powerball, would you not, Zach? No, I wouldn't actually. No, that's no fun.
You're 4 times more likely to be hit by an asteroid, and you're 508 times more likely to become a billionaire through some other means.
Wow.
So it's still possible, kids.
I'm just curious, because it's gone so long without winning. Someone's going to win it eventually, and I'm just curious where that's going to be. Will it be this week at one point? Or could this thing get up to like $4 billion? And the best part of all this is that kids aren't going to get any of the money for education somehow. Like, it just never seems like it just... There's that much money being generated, and somehow our education still stinks. I don't get the whole lottery for education thing.
Infestations are no joke, and some people will do anything to get rid of the problem. A man in Detroit had bed bugs and decided he needed to take some serious action to get rid of them. So he decided the smart thing to do was to douse what he had in alcohol and then light it on fire.
Yes, that seems very logical, to start a fire in your home to get rid of bed bugs.
I mean, there might be no more bed bugs, but
heat is what does drive them away, actually. Heat is, they will heat your entire house up to 100 and something degrees to help kill them, but not fire.
Well, he might be the smartest man in the world then if he's using heat. But 4 apartments in his building ended up being completely destroyed.
Oh my goodness.
And he, of course, was taken to the hospital as well with burns.
Holy
And
cow.
a 5th apartment was overcome by a bed bug
Yes.
infestation.
They all ran from those 4 apartments, and now the guy on the end unit's like, really? All right, that's going to have to do it for your news for this hour. Thank you, Miss Becca.
Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
This is the Wally Show with boys versus girls, where if your gender wins, you can call to win a prize. Now, we have since reset the game for this year, where we zeroed it out, and the boys are only up by 1 instead of 8 like last year. So only up by 1.
You were only up by 7 last year. Let's get that straight.
Okay, that doesn't sound much worse. All right, so up by 1 only. So this is a prime place here for the ladies to come back and win this thing. So remember, if your gender wins, you'll be able to call to win a prize based on a question that you'll receive from this. So make sure you are listening. All right, question number 1. How many hours per week does the average American family watch TV?
Ooh.
And it says family.
Entire family,
Yeah,
yeah.
not kids, average family. I think this has gone up and down, and, you know, who knows how DVR's changed this. I don't have any of that information, so I know Zach's going to ask me about 800 questions, but just based on this question at face value, because I know the same thing that you do, how many hours per week does the average American watch TV? So everybody get your answers down. Okay, let's start with you, Betty Rock.
15.
Not a bad guess.
Not a bad guess. I said 27.
Wow, I think I'm way low, Zach.
Oh, yeah, I aimed low and I went at 30.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
I think it's higher than that.
You and I got a good spread, though. I said 8.
Oh, good.
Yeah, like I was thinking an hour a day, but then, I don't know. So anyway.
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's
No.
what it is.
The average American... Oh. The average American family watches 19.11 hours.
Who's that? That's Betty.
That's me?
That's Betty.
Is that Betty?
I said 15.
Oh, man.
Yay!
Nuts. I
That
thought I
starts
was
this game.
good. I thought I was good with my 8. But
That
then
must be how much they watch together.
Yeah, because if it would have been kids, I would have
Right.
shot way higher.
'Cause I think the TV's on for an average of 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Maybe it's actual attentive watching.
I don't know. My house, it's a lot more than
You're
that.
right, Becca. We should probably throw it out.
Good point.
No, no.
You're right. Let's go with attentive
That
watching.
is not what I said.
Caveat to that question: in attentive watching, it is only 9 hours. I said 8.
No.
So yeah,
No, that's still a
Americans-
question for the girls.
Yeah, it says Americans spend an average of 2.17 hours per week engaged in sports or exercise while they spend 19 hours watching TV. So there you go. It's good to know we have our priorities straight. All right, so you got 2 more questions to go. Right now, girls are winning this thing. Could work out good for the ladies today. We'll have to wait and find out in 15 right here on The Wally Show.
Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
Right now, we are locked into a battle of wits on boys versus girls, and the ladies right now are beating us 1-0. Congratulations! And Betty Rock got the first question right for the girls. Why that's important to you if you're a lady is that if your gender wins, you can call to win a prize at the end of this thing. So here we go. Question number 2. In years, how old was the oldest Major League Baseball player to hit a home run?
Ooh.
In years. And this is right in your wheelhouse, Becca.
That doesn't mean I know it.
Because she loves baseball.
boy.
So you would think that would favor the guys. Zach, you don't watch a lot of baseball, do you?
No.
Little Indians here and there.
Yeah, when I can. But
Yeah, and I watch none.
who's got like 5 hours to watch a game?
I know, but Becca loves it, so this should be good.
I do, but I don't think I know this.
All right, in years, how old was the oldest Major League Baseball player to hit a home run? And it is Major League. So everybody get your guesses down. And baseball, I think you can play longer than football, but here we go.
Yeah, you can play well into your 20s.
Yeah, probably so. All right, Betty Rock, we'll start with you.
Don't listen to them.
Start with you, Betty Rock.
He's trying to throw you off.
3.
23?
23, little low.
boy.
Yeah, Becca, what'd you say?
47.
Oh, that's a great guess. I said 48. Zach, what did you say?
I said 40.
Ooh, all right. The actual answer is you are not going to believe this.
What is it?
You are not going to stinking believe this.
What is it?
23.
48 years
48.
old. No! On the button!
Boys take the lead.
Button in one question. In one question, we jumped up ahead. How amazing is
How
that?
amazing.
Who does it say? The record was set by Julio
Franco?
Yes,
that's who I was going to say.
Really? That's 3
Yes.
points.
No, it's not. No.
Julio Franco, he played for the Indians.
Yeah.
He was
Next
fantastic.
question.
In
Please.
2007,
Next
all right,
question.
it's 3-1.
No, it's 2-1. It's 2-1, boys.
All right, here we go. You can tie it up here. In what year did Heinz ketchup first come in? In what year did Heinz ketchup first come in squeeze bottles, squeezable bottles? I think we've seen that in our lifetime, right? No, I was thinking upside down squeeze bottles we've seen in our lifetime. But boy, was it before that? Squeeze bottles. Everybody thinking back to their childhood. I'm thinking back farther than all of you, and I remember glass as a kid. So squeeze bottles, what year? Everybody get your guesses down. We're going to start with you first, Becca.
1980.
Oh, Oh, you and I are just all over this thing today. I said 1979.
Ooh, okay.
That'd be
At
funny
least
if
over
it
the
reversed.
I said 81.
81, Zach.
Okay.
I said 85.
Wow. Okay, the actual answer is, I'm hoping it's below the 80s. The actual answer is,
What is it?
1983.
So Betty got it.
I got 81.
Yeah. Okay, so we're all tied up. We're all tied up.
Man, all tied up.
Oh, my word.
Okay, Zach got the Julio Franco question.
Can I just show
that
you?
doesn't
I had
count.
83 and I scribbled it out.
No,
to change
stop
to
it.
5.
Stop
Okay,
trying
Wally.
to Wally this.
Yeah, I don't make fun of you because I get that. I get the
You get that.
indecisiveness.
Doesn't matter. We're tied
I should
up.
have stayed.
All right, here we go. Final question. We got to do this in a hurry. What percentage of Scotland's population has red hair? What percentage of Scotland's population has red hair? Is 101 a percentage? 100. Okay. What percentage of Scotland's population has red hair? Okay, now I've written down a number and scratched it out like Zach. All right, Zach, what is your guess?
5.
Oh, that's way low.
Whoa.
Wow, you shot low. Okay, Betty,
73.
that's a little high.
17.
17. I said 34. The actual answer is 13.
That wasn't me.
That's me. That's it. Yes. The
You all
guys
laughed
win.
at me.
Uh-huh.
Genetically, it's still difficult to get. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, don't even explain it. Just bask in it. That means the guys win again. 2-0. Okay, fellas. Only guys can call. Boy, you
I
guys.
think what it is we
a valiant
overanalyze.
No,
our-
I think what it is they're just terrible people.
Yes.
Oh, well,
yeah,
that
because
too.
I got one right on the money. Zach got the bring it home one. Boy, that was a big round for us. All right, so fellas.
Sorry you're so good at guessing.
You can call now. Man, she's bitter. All right, American family, according to one of the questions, spends 19 hours per week doing what together? Tell us what it is that they did for
You would have
19
given
hours
such
a week.
a much harder question if the girls had won.
That's not true at all. I love you guys. All right, 877-91-WALLY's the number again. Only guys can call to win a prize right now. 877-91-WALLY.
Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
This is the Wally Show, and it's the culmination of boys versus girls. Who's this?
This is JR.
JR, it's great to be a guy today because the guys won, which means only guys can call to win a prize right now. And so you got through. You know what, JR? Give the girls a hand because they did a really good job. They really made a valiant effort at this one today. It just didn't go their way.
Yes, y'all girls did excellent. Good job.
Just not excellent enough.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
There it is.
Was waiting for it. All right, JR, so your question is, one of our first questions was the American family spends 19 hours per week doing what together? Can you tell me what that is?
Watching television.
Watching television is absolutely right.
Yep,
Nicely done, good sir. Do you have any kids?
I do. I have a 7-year-old daughter.
Do you watch her shows with her?
I do. We watch a lot of Frozen together.
Oh, do you really? Just on loop? I understand that.
Because you watch it, not because you have a 7-year-old daughter.
I make my 17-year-old daughter watch it with me.
Yes, let's clarify.
Well, congratulations, JR. You are the big winner today and yet another trouncing by the fellas. But you know what? I feel good. I feel good that the ladies are going to win one this year. So thank you so much, JR, and it's great to be a guy.
Yes, sir.
Monday School is a chance for Wally to share what he learned at church and prove that he went.
And in this case, I did not go. I had a sick wife that I had to take to the doctor Sunday morning. So fortunately, Becca goes to the same church as me, and she is going to be handling the Monday school duties today. And she didn't find out about it till late.
Yeah, so I didn't maybe take quite the notes I would have if I had.
So let's see how much Becca was paying attention at church. What was the name? Because it's a new series I wanted to be there for.
It's called I Quit.
Okay.
And so we're kind of kicking off the new year with this concept of there are things that all of us need to quit. And so often when you start the new year, it's the focus on you're going to start something. You're going to start dieting, or you're going to start working out. You're going to start showing up to work on time. But maybe the focus should be on the things that we need to quit in our life.
Look at Pastor Pete flipping the script on you. You think he's going one way, then boom, here's another way.
Not that you know because you weren't there.
But I had a sick wife. I was in the doctor's office.
But so many times we're overwhelmed, we're overworked, we're overcommitted to things, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. In Matthew, Jesus says, come to me, all you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. And that's the way a lot of us are. We kick off this new year, and we already feel tired and worn out. But sometimes you have to kind of quit things. You have to empty your routine of some things you don't need so God can fill up your heart with the things that you do need. Because so often we think that busyness means that we have extra time with these other people, but that's not true. Busyness also doesn't mean that it's valuable time either. It's just more things in our schedule that are wearing us down.
Exactly. Yeah, there's things we could definitely strip out of our lives to simplify, and we're very, as a society, just as people, we're very busy. And if we're not busy, we feel like we're not doing enough sometimes.
Right, exactly.
And so you've got that extra time in your day. I got to fill this with something. I'm totally wired that way. I try to fill every minute of my day with something.
So the challenge was to try to quit something, and not something huge like your job. Don't go into work today and, walk out immediately.
I don't know. Give it a shot. Might be refreshing.
Probably not a good idea. Don't take that advice. But maybe it's something smaller, like that one extra commitment that your family has made that you really know is just kind of pushing things too far. Or maybe it's an attitude. Maybe it's the attitude of complaining or arguing with somebody. Just quitting that one thing to kind of kick off the new year.
And I think everybody can think of one thing. You go, okay, what is something I need to strip out of my life a little bit? And it's going to be different for most people, but it's a good exercise to go through and try to weed that out, a little bit at a time. So there you go. It's the opposite of a New Year's resolution, kind of. And that is the new session, I Quit. I can't wait to hear what you come up with next week.
Are you going to start skipping church? You're never going again, are you?
Never again. Why do I? Just got the whole sermon right there from you, Becca, and I saved tons of time. Speaking of which, I want to talk about this tomorrow. Ways we can make church more efficient. I have a couple ideas. We'll do that tomorrow. But thank you, Miss Becca, for getting us caught up with Monday School.
Why do we have to tell the people what they need to hear?
Why can't the news be fun?
It's the Wally Show News.
And Becca's going to explain how news is fun right now. What you got?
Oh, North Korea.
Oh, not fun.
News.
Not fun at all. I know this won't be fun because they're crazy, like starting, nuclear bombs and all that kind of stuff. What else is going on in North Korea?
Their latest antics, they just announced that they've been holding an American citizen as a prisoner. Yeah, apparently the man had been spying for South Korea when he was caught, and North Korea provided his passport to prove that he is a U.S. citizen, but they're still kind of looking into the entire situation.
He was either spying or a teacher. It's like they do that kind of nonsense all the time.
They should have to name one human who is not a spy for South Korea.
Yes. I don't think they could.
It's funny you say that, he probably just had some ordinary job. North Korea is also holding a Canadian pastor as a prisoner, and he received a life sentence last month after being convicted of using religion to overthrow the government.
Oh, my goodness.
So, a little paranoia there.
That's the thing. I mean, I think we take it for granted. We talk about being persecuted for our faith because Bill in accounting made fun of me for going to church or whatever, But there are people that are persecuted for their faith around the world, around the globe. You got that Pastor Saeed who's been held in Afghanistan for almost 5 years now, I think. And so there is, it happens daily, and it's sad that there's still so much intolerance around the world and so much hate for the gospel.
You might remember back in July that the notorious drug dealer El Chapo had escaped from a prison in Mexico and had been on the run ever since. Well, he was just found and arrested on Friday. But the bizarre part of the story is an interview El Chapo did back in October with actor Sean Penn that was just published in Rolling Stone this weekend.
Was Sean preparing for a role or something? That's all I could figure is why those two would ever connect.
For some reason, he has some bizarre friends like that in that part of the world. He's also made friends with Cuban dictators.
Those are horrible friends to have.
Oh, absolutely. And some people are obviously criticizing Penn's actions, but others are saying that it's actually what helped authorities find El Chapo.
But do you think that was Penn's motivation? You can't judge somebody's motives, but I kind of doubt it. I'm going to get this guy caught.
I think we're going to learn at some point that Sean Penn is a government actor. He's a spy. Yeah.
Really? Stay away from North Korea. Stay away from North Korea. We know that doesn't work well. Wow, that would be amazing. And what a great movie.
Who could play Sean Penn?
Oh my goodness. Only Chuck Norris could play Sean Penn in that movie. Oh my gosh.
And finally, there are often stories of people coming up with superhuman strength when they need it. And that happened recently when a man was working on his truck in his garage and his jack slipped. And then while he was putting it under the truck, a fire broke out.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
That just got worse.
Totally. Not really a lot of time to call 911, get help. But thankfully, his 19-year-old daughter was home, and she did more than just call for help. She lifted the truck off of him, and saved his life. Superhuman strength. And it seems like this wasn't her last heroic act, as she
That's amazing.
As she kind of thinks of what she wants to do with the rest of her life.
If I can't do any of the military branches, then probably just intelligence or government or just something, maybe even fire and rescue.
How about weightlifting?
How about working with Sean Penn?
Yes, that's amazing.
Put those two together? Oh, my goodness.
All right, there you go. That is your news for this hour. Thank you, Miss Becca. This is the Wally Show, and the other day there was an article in Relevant Magazine that caught my attention. The headline said, how do I know when it's time to stop praying? And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I think they're going to flip the script on it. So as I read through it, that's what happened, because there's a subtext to that question of, how do I know when it's time to stop praying for something? And that's, basically what's been happening is you've been praying for something and you've heard nothing from God. And you're figuring that, well, maybe it's just time to take this out of God's hands and put it back in ours. And the whole gist of the article was that's the exact wrong way to handle it. Because there are times when we'll go for months, days, years without feeling like we're hearing from God on something, and you pray fervently and you get to that point where you think, okay, I guess it's never meant to be, and so you quit praying, and you just stop. And I don't think that that's the case, because you look at the Bible and there are people that prayed for years for different things and God honored them, but his timing is so radically different than ours.
It's like Sarah, who wanted a child for so long, and then God finally gave her one. She's like, I'm way too old for that. You're kidding, right?
You're like, you're so funny, God. Thanks for that. I wanted it 80 years ago, but that happens. And so, a lot of times we get caught up in where we're going in life, and it's like, okay, God, I've got to make this decision, and you really just got to show me your way, and which path am I supposed to choose? And if I choose the wrong path, then I'm just, I've been praying about this and where I'm supposed to go to college, or who I'm supposed to marry, what I'm supposed to do, and you're so crippled by making the wrong decision that it paralyzes you and you don't do anything. And maybe God is less concerned with where we're going and more concerned with who we're becoming in these moments. So the article goes through and says, here are a couple things to think about when you're not getting clarity and you're considering to stop praying for something. It says, one of the things is trust that silence from God doesn't mean he's absent. Just because he's quiet on something doesn't mean that his hand isn't still in it and he's not present in your life. Spend the time in the Bible, this quiet time and this time of absence, what you feel is absence, is silence, and use this to learn more about who God is. In his characteristics, and look at other stories, and it might help explain your own. And at the end of the day, never quit praying, especially when it seems pointless. We continue to bring our petitions to God. There are things as a dad I already know the answer to, but I still want my daughter to come to me, and I've already planned something for her, and I know it's going to happen, but I still want her to come to me and ask me. And to communicate with me and be part of that relationship, even though I already know what's going to happen and I'm going to meet this need or whatever. And I think God's the same way. Like, he knows the big plan, but he wants to spend time with us, and he wants us to pray and bring things to him. And I think that he's more concerned with that than the outcome of stuff. We're the ones that get freaked out about outcomes, but I think God is, passionate about that relationship with us. So here's what I'm really curious about. What is something that you are glad you did not stop praying for? It felt like at times, I don't know why I'm even praying for this, God, anymore. You're totally not here. You totally have nothing to do with this. I'm on my own, but I'm going to keep praying. Maybe it's for your kids. Maybe it's for your spouse. Something like that. I don't know what it is for you. But what is something that you look back on now, regardless of how it was answered, but you're like, man, I am so thankful that I continued to pray for that. I'd love to hear your stories. 877-91-WALLY is the number. If you got one, we'll take it right now. 877-91-WALLY. This is the Wally Show, and, I came across this article in Relevant Magazine that talks about, when is it time to stop praying for something? And that was the headline, but the gist of the article was, you don't stop praying. And so I'm curious for you there, Tasha, what is something that you prayed about for a long time, and you're glad you didn't stop praying for it?
My marriage.
Oh, your marriage. That is a good one. So what was the situation?
3 years ago, my husband actually filed for divorce, and we separated into separate households. We were apart for almost 4 months, and of course I continued to pray. And it was interesting because at one point I changed my prayer from God, please salvage my marriage, restore my marriage, to God, please restore my husband back to you.
Interesting.
And about a week later, my husband came to me and said, God came to me and told me, if I gave her to you, who are you to give her away?
Oh, wow. That's crazy. And you know what? I think there's a big lesson in that. It's kind of how we pray for different things. Instead of praying for the save my marriage, you prayed for him to, reconnect with God, which is even more important than your marriage. But you had to lay that down, but it ended up working out. That's amazing.
Absolutely. And just about 10 days before the divorce was to be final, we were back together.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. Everything's still good?
Everything is wonderful, better than ever.
This is the Wally Show. And in life, when we're praying for things, it's really easy to give up when we don't see the answer happening quickly. And there's times where you pray for years for something. And does it happen? I don't know, but you stay in it and you keep praying. And so I'm curious for you, Amy, what is something that you prayed for years, to happen, and you didn't give up on it, and you wouldn't give up on it, and what was that situation?
My marriage.
Okay, yeah, we've had somebody else say the same type thing where their marriage was in trouble and they didn't give up on it and God restored it. So what was your story?
My story is that at the time, about 7 years ago, my husband decided he no longer wanted to be married, and I was pregnant with our son at the time.
Oh, wow.
And, so I prayed probably a good solid year, just really fervently. And although our marriage ended up in divorce, I think God was really showing me just how to build that resiliency in my prayer life, and really focusing maybe not on the marriage. I think at one point he really shifted my focus into who do you want me to be and how do you want me to respond to this.
See, yours is so interesting because it didn't have the happy ending, which is a lot of, I prayed, and God answered my prayer the way I wanted it answered. But yours, I think, is more normal, honestly, for a lot of people that you pray and pray and pray and the outcome doesn't look at all like you would have designed it, but there's still something that can happen inside of that. You can still learn about yourself, and you can also have your relationship with God be strengthened through that time as well.
He's totally molded my life into a completely different way I never would have expected. So everything he has planned for me has been just a huge blessing and a huge lesson.
This is the Wally Show, and we're talking about those times where you just want to give up on praying for something. There was an article in Relevant magazine that said, how do I know when it's time to stop praying? And that was to kind of get you in, and the whole gist of the article is you don't stop praying, and they give you some tips or tricks to that. So what is something, Lexi, that you're glad you didn't stop praying for?
Hi, Wally. For my husband and I, it was a miracle baby. We struggled with fertility issues for 4 years, and there were plenty of times where we felt like giving up, and it felt like God's not listening at times, but we know He was, and He blessed us with our little baby that will be 7 months old tomorrow.
Oh, cool. What's your baby's name?
Her name is Emery Rose.
Oh, that's pretty. I like that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that drive to have a baby sometimes can be something that ends marriages. It's amazing how destructive that can be and how crippling it can be if people allow it to be. And so to sit there and go through time and time and time again of not being able to have that happen. Did you guys ever lose hope at any point where you're like, okay, well, we're going to adopt now or what have you?
You know what? We actually did towards the end. We had gone through 2 miscarriages, so that was really hard on us.
Right.
And so towards the end, I just said, I don't know if I can keep doing this, but God just gave us that little extra hope and faith that we could keep going. And even though it took years and it felt like forever, now we look back and it made us stronger as a couple.
I've seen that happen more times with people that struggle with getting pregnant when they finally release it. They're like, okay, we're just done. God, whatever's going to happen, I don't even care anymore. It's okay.
Yep.
I'm good either way. Then they end up having a baby. It's the craziest thing.
You know what? That's exactly where we were. After 4 years, we said, you know what, God, we're putting it in your hands. If you give us a baby, we'll be grateful. But if not, we're going to be grateful and we're going to move on and we're going to keep living for you and trusting you. And as soon as we let it go, and just like you said,
and thank you for saying let it go, because that automatically on this show signifies let it go. Let it go.
I'm praying for that this phase will end.
Yes.
This is the Wally Show, and I came across an article in Relevant Magazine that said, how do you know when it's time to stop praying? And so that instantly caught my eye. And the whole article was really about, look, you don't stop praying. Even when it seems hopeless, God is still in that situation. So, Michelle, is there something that you're glad that you didn't stop praying for?
Well, I didn't stop praying that my husband would find his way to God.
Oh, boy, that's a big prayer for a lot of wives. You know, you get married. And now, were you a believer when you got married, or did you come to faith after you were married?
No, I was a believer before I was married. I believed, I didn't, do it all the time, go to church.
Right.
But my husband, he believed that there was a God. He believed there was a being. And he just never saw anything working in his life. So he always thought, he was punishing him.
So how many years did it take you praying for him before this happened?
Oh, 5 years ago, we started going to church. So about 5 years ago. So yeah, that was something I did not stop praying for. And, it all comes in God's time.
And I would imagine that your marriage is stronger now, too, when you're both on the same page. That's that whole unequally yoked thing that's in the Bible, because it just takes one less thing out of the marriage that becomes an argument.
Yes, exactly. And it was something that was causing arguments. I would say something, in respect to God. And he would just look at me and he would just say, well, I just don't believe it. And, so like I said, I prayed and prayed and prayed.
I'll tell you, there are a lot of guys that are going to be in heaven because of faithful wives that didn't give up on them and prayed time and time again, year and year and year after year for them. So he is definitely lucky to have you, girl.
Yes, and I'm lucky to have him.
These are the least important stories out of Hollywood, but nonetheless entertaining. It's the least of these.
And Betty Rock is going to bring it to you right now. What you got, girl? What's happening in the celebrity world?
Well, we're actually starting off with some pretty sad news.
Oh, no.
David Bowie passed away yesterday at the age of 69.
I heard this, and it's one of those things where he's one of those guys that you go, oh, wow, I can't believe he died when you hear about him, even if you weren't a fan, right?
Yeah, there are certain legends in music that are getting older now, and unfortunately we're going to have more news like this. And it's interesting because I'm not sure who the next generation is of movers and shakers in the music industry. The people that they're iconic for what
Cody
they brought
Simpson.
to it. No,
Cody Simpson.
not
Yeah,
quite. Like
Cody
the Billy
Simpson.
Joels and the Eric Claptons and some from
Selena Gomez.
Nope, not quite.
None of them, really?
No, I don't know who's going to carry that torch forward.
Yeah, I don't know that we get to see a lot of bands grow. It's all one-hit wonders now and stuff, and you don't get to see them grow and become that iconic band. And again, Bowie's one of those guys that you might not have known his music. I knew more of it than you guys do, I'm sure. But it's still shocking for whatever reason. Oh, wow, I can't believe that person's gone.
Right, at 69. I still think that's pretty young. And he seems like he'd be older.
He's like, I could date that guy.
Stop it. I never said that. The 2016 Golden Globe Awards were last night. A couple of the winners included were Best Animated Feature Film, Inside Out.
Oh, that was good. I love that.
Here's one that was odd. Best Musical or Comedy, The Martian, with Matt Damon.
What?
That was a comedy?
Yeah. Well,
or a musical,
I guess.
That was neither, but I would see it.
I read a little bit up on this. Supposedly submitting films in categories that don't exactly fit but are less competitive has become a thing in Hollywood.
That is weak sauce.
They shouldn't let them do that.
That is funny.
Shouldn't somebody else?
No, that shouldn't be allowed. That's wrong. That's so wrong.
Yeah. While presenting the award for Best Score, Jamie Foxx made fun of Steve Harvey by calling out the wrong winner.
Oh, like he did with Miss Columbia?
Yes, on the Miss Universe.
And the winner is Straight Outta Compton. I'm sorry, folks. I made a mistake. It's right here on the card. I take full responsibility. Full responsibility was right here on the card. I'm sorry. I apologize to everybody in Compton.
That's funny.
Yeah, and speaking of Steve Harvey, he actually invited Miss Columbia on his show next week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and this will be the first time they've come face to face since that whole debacle on stage.
That was embarrassing.
Well, she tweeted out asking her fans should she do it or not.
How does she have fans? You're Miss Universe. Or
She's
not
probably
even.
got a lot of fans now.
I bet she becomes more popular than the lady that actually won, Miss Philippine?
Yes.
See, you question it.
Yeah,
I know.
I'm not quite sure.
72% said yes. yes, that she should do it.
It wasn't his fault. Like, don't.
Yeah, he didn't do it on purpose.
Clear the air.
Right. Thanks to Star Wars: The Force Awakens, Harrison Ford is now officially the highest-grossing actor in U.S. box office history.
Wow.
Yeah, his 41 films have grossed $4.7 billion at the box office.
Wow, that's a guy you can bank on then.
I did see that The Force Awakens just became the number 3 movie of all time since it just opened in China. So,
really?
Yeah, as far as the global impact,
it's only been out
climbing.
for a few weeks,
Yep.
a month or so, whatever. So yeah, that'll actually surpass. I'm sure that'll be the number 1 of all time. Even though it's really not worth it. It's not that great. Redbox it.
Don't spoil it. Some of us still haven't seen it.
Really?
Redbox it.
Really?
I'm
That's
telling
on
you,
you now.
Redbox it. You'll be happy you only spent $1 on it. I promise you. I promise you. All right, that is your least of these for today. Thank you, Miss Rock. This is the Wally Show, and, we were talking the other day about some new movie called The Revenant, and Zach and I were both like, I wonder what that means. That sounds odd, The Revenant. So I actually looked it up, and it means like somebody that comes back from the dead or has been gone for a very long time. And Zach made the comment.
Yeah, it sounds like a hipster church name.
Yeah, it does,
like,
actually.
Hey, you going to the Revenant tonight?
Totally, dude. They've got the best coffee in their coffee house. Yeah, that's what it does. It sounds like a hipster church. And then that made me start thinking about what other words are out there that could be used as hipster church words, to rename church. Who knows? Maybe we'll launch one with one of these things. So, Becca, let's start with you. What is something that you think would be a good hipster church name?
So for inspiration, I went to IMDb and looked up sci-fi movie titles.
That's a different way to go about it. Yeah.
So my first one is Interstellar.
Nice.
Yes. From Philippians, then you will shine among them like stars in the sky. Interstellar Church.
You even added a Bible verse.
I did.
It's perfect. I would go to Interstellar Church. I would. That's beautiful. What about you, Rock?
Well, I was going more towards the Apple, like iPads and things like that.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so I thought of the charger. Because you need charging for your phone and your computers.
And your spiritual life, for your soul.
Right.
Yeah, you need to be recharged.
Right.
Recharge would be good, too.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you going to go to Recharge Saturday night? Yeah, because it's not going to be on Sunday. It's a Saturday night service. If you go to a church called Recharge, they don't do anything normal. So there you go. That's good. What about you, Zach?
I like the word verve.
Verve?
Meaning vigor and spirit or enthusiasm.
Really? Because there was a band called the Verve Pipe. Really? Yeah, back in the day. And I never knew what that meant. Verve. I like that. That's good. And vigor and spirit?
Yes.
Oh, and it could be one where you speak in tongues, too.
Could be.
That'd be good. Yeah, that would work. I went with a scientific term, kinesis. It means motion or change. And I thought, that sounds like it could be on a piece of barnwood somewhere. It says kinesis. That tends to be what most modern churches look like these days.
Picture that on some pallet.
Yes. Totally in the lobby there. Welcome
candles.
to Kinesis.
Yeah.
Here we got a grassroots smoothie for you. Fantastic. Okay, so these are a couple. I know I've got more. I know you guys have more that we'll get to, like hipster names for churches. But if you have one, we would love to take yours right now too. 877-91-WALLY's the number. Maybe you've been thinking of one, like you've got I've got the best name for a hipster church ever, and you just been sitting on it and you didn't know how you were ever going to work this into a conversation. Welcome to the Wally Show. Now's your moment. You can shine. You can work this in now. So give us your hipster church name. 877-91-WALLY's the number. This is the Wally Show, and we're talking about hipster church names. And can you come up with one based on the word revenant? It's from that movie, which means, to come back from the dead. And Zach was like, boy, that'd be a great hipster church name. So what do you got, Brian?
The Foundation.
Oh, yeah, I could see that working. It talks about in the Bible, the wise man builds his house upon the rock. Oh, the rock would work, too. I bet that exists.
I used to be a skateboarder, and it was actually a skateboarding company. So it's something when these hipster churches started coming out, I always thought it would be an awesome name for a hipster church.
So members of the church could be called the Founders?
Oh,
there you go.
Mm-hmm. Or if you take a page from Taylor Swift's Swifties, they could be the Foundies.
Yeah, I don't think you want to mix anything churchy with Taylor Swift.
Oh, come on now. Don't you judge her. She's a delight.
Why you gotta be so mean?
This is the Wally Show, and Zach and I were talking about that movie, The Revenant, and neither one of us knew what it meant. And we looked it up, and it means someone that comes back from the dead, or a ghost, or someone that's been gone for a while. And we were talking about how, boy, that'd be a good name for a hipster church. And that has kind of spun us off into coming up with our own names for hipster churches. So, Becca, do you have another one?
I sure do. I like, once again, I'm coming up with all of mine from sci-fi movie titles.
Okay, that's okay.
So, Limitless Church.
I remember that, Bradley Cooper.
Right.
With Pastor Bradley Cooper.
In a TV show now, yeah.
Yeah,
wow.
but, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength.
I love that.
Limitless Church.
You tied in a Bible verse to everyone. That's really good. Zach, what about you?
I have one that ties a Bible verse.
Nice.
2:15 fragrant.
What?
And
That's
you meet at 2:15.
Okay, of course.
Because you don't want to wake up so early.
And you don't want to meet at 2.
No.
That's too mainstream.
2:15 fragrant, it sounds good. It's from 2 Corinthians. You know this.
Of course. But for the other people that don't read their Bibles, please
Rebecca,
tell them.
Our lives are a Christ-like fragrance rising up to God.
Ooh,
there you go.
2:15 fragrant.
That's good. That is good. I had a couple other ones, like I had the 13th tribe. I thought that was a good one. There's 12 tribes in Judah.
Right, yeah.
Okay. And the tribe is like a hipster marketing term.
It is.
So I thought
and they
that
could get
might
tribal
be good.
tattoos together.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Maven Church, I thought would be kind of hipster too. Maven is a trusted expert who passes on knowledge.
Oh.
And I thought that could be cool because that's what we're supposed to do is learn. You got another one, Becca?
I do. Transcendence.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
I don't have a verse with that one, but
Another movie.
Called to live on another level.
Nice.
Yeah, all mine are moving.
Nice.
Earthling. I thought Earthling Church would be fun.
Because we're not of this world.
Right, exactly.
I get it. It's perfect.
I got one, Trump Church.
Trump Church.
Because God is like our trump card.
Okay.
I like it.
Not Donald Trump.
I believe.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
I believe Trump does go to the
Yes,
Church
he
of Trump.
does.
Let me see. I have one, Ninja Church.
Ooh.
Yeah, I like that one because it's not too in your faith. We sneak up on you like a church ninja. I think that'd be good. My favorite, though, I think of mine is Evolve, and their slogan is change, but not the monkey kind. See how that works?
I like it.
Yeah, I think that one works. This is the Wally Show, and we kind of got off on this little tangent of trying to create the perfect name for the ultimate hipster church. So, Kathleen, what do you got?
It is called the Elevation Experience.
Oh, that sounds ultra hip. And it sounds culty a little bit, I'll be honest with you.
I don't know if it's culty, but he's really good. I watch it on TV.
Oh, it's a real church.
Yes, it is.
Oh, excuse me. We were making up names of churches. I thought you just made that up.
I know, made up. Okay.
So let me just be very clear, not a cult for the Elevation Church Experience. I'm not slandering anybody here. This is the Wally Show, and based on that movie Revenant, because we didn't know what it meant, so we looked it up, and it means to come back to life. Zach was like, boy, that'd be a great name for a hipster church. So, Chris, other than the Revenant, which I think would be great, what is another cool hipster church name?
Standing on the Rock.
Standing on the Rock. I wonder if The Rock is already a hipster church name. That seems like it. Zach, Google it real quick. The Rock. The Rock Church. I think there was a church called The Rock out in L.A. back in the day that all the 80s hair bands went to.
First one that comes up in Google is in San Diego, pastored by Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson? Now you're lying. You had me for a second. I'm like, what an irony that is, huh? Well, there you go. That is your podcast for today. Before we go, we actually went crazy on this list of different hipster names for churches, and I think we actually have more than we could get to during the course of the show. So I want to go through a few more of these. Becca and Betty have a couple more. Like Betty, we didn't even get to all of yours during the show.
Well, mine aren't as great as y'all's.
Okay,
Y'all's
well, what's another one that we missed?
The fruit.
Oh, I like that, although I never go there.
But it would have the apple. Like, I was going with technology, but the apple from...
copyright infringement. Good call. Because Apple never protects their copyright.
It'll be fine.
Yes.
No big deal.
Make the little stem at the top of the apple across.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Oh, great idea.
I like that. Yeah. So I always like to hear things like how it would play out, like in a conversation. That's how I decide on names for things. Like we were trying to name our compassion event, and so I came up with Hope Happens. And so I run through. I'm like, hey, it's Wally with our Hope Happens compassion event, and so that's how I work it. So I work like this. I go the fruit. So hey, Rock, are you going to be at the fruit this Friday?
Yeah, totes.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure that the fruit actually works. Although we should bear fruit, I get that. Becca, what do you got?
So one I actually thought of after we talked about it on the air, kind of going with the hip theme, is church. Without the U, like text message lingo.
CHRCH.
Yes.
It's a good one in print. It is
Maybe
harder.
you could call it CHRCH.
Yes.
Hey, you going to CHRCH?
I love it.
Or CR first?
Yeah.
But make it stand for something.
Yes.
Christ,
be,
risen, commands...
Holiness. There you go. See, it's perfect. Boy, I do like that one. I do like that. Zach, what else did you have?
Let's see. I got brio, which means life.
Oh, it does? In what language?
Italian.
Maybe that was a magazine I got back in the day. It was
a girls' magazine.
Yeah,
that's where he got it.
Wow. I had Breakaway, the guy version of the magazine.
There is no guy
but I had
version.
3 sisters, so I might have read brio. Every now and
you
again.
might have, yeah. That's how you know how to match your socks with your outfit. Nicely done. Let me see. I have. Did we talk about this one on the show? I don't remember if we talked about it after Ninja Church.
Yes, we did.
We talked about that on the show. Okay, I wasn't sure. Barabbas, because it just sounds cool. But Barabbas is the guy that the Jews said let him go in honor of instead of Jesus, and so the metaphor is that we don't deserve to be let go either, just like Barabbas, but Jesus died for us. See, Barabbas.
Wow.
You gonna be at Barabbas on Sunday morning?
Reaching.
Like to welcome everyone to Barabbas Baptist this morning.
Yeah, see, it works. We're gonna Barabbatize you.
It sounds like a church full of convicts or something. Like
it
that
could
would
be.
Scare me.
It could be. We have a church behind bars at our church. So
But they could call that one the
Barabbas. Yeah, that seems mean. Yeah, that sounds like for criminals. I got a great idea. If you're going to do a church that's an outreach jail ministry, make it real criminally. Anybody have other ones?
Yeah, I had. So my main theme was taking them from sci-fi movie titles.
Yeah.
So I have Watchmen, Passengers, The Host,
kind
of like the body of Christ.
Oh my gosh!
And then Daybreakers, which I think is a zombie movie, but we're starting every day by giving it to God.
Oh, that's horrible. That one's horrible.
I got Ablaze, Cloister.
Oh, Ablaze. I had Pyro as one of my.
That's good.
Pyro marketing.
Pyro Presbyterian.
And I think pyro marketing was one of those things that kind of has its roots in the Jesus movement, like in Jesus and how he recruited disciples, and then you make disciples of these people and they become your advocates.
Like a grassroots kind of thing. Yeah,
I believe so, yeah.
I got rapture, which I didn't know rapture means a feeling of intense pleasure or joy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's
You never knew that?
No.
You didn't know that either. Stop.
I did. Of course I did.
You didn't.
You've never heard the term in rapture.
Rapture,
but
yeah.
not-
Yeah.
I got throng, like the throng.
Too close to thong. I'll be honest with you.
Want to make sure that R light on your sign doesn't go out.
Yeah, you're just an R away from having a different kind of club.
I got muster.
Muster?
Which is an assemble.
Your muster station on a cruise.
Or you could do mustard, like mustard
seed.
There you go. Mm-hmm. The seed, yeah.
The seed. That doesn't sound culty.
Yeah. Forte.
Oh, I like that.
Loud.
Yeah. That was one of the teams on the Celebrity Apprentice was Forte. That's what I should have done, is just look Celebrity Apprentice names. They're the ultimate hipster church names for sure. I had Millennial Church. It seems to make sense. I don't know if they'd go, but let me see. Life Hack Church. I like that one. Yeah, I like that one. And No Shade Church.
No shade?
Yeah, the no shade. I'm not going to throw any shade your way. Yeah, no shade. We're not going to judge you.
Well, they have blinds in their sanctuary?
No. Just a no shade church. It's really too hipster for this room, and I apologize, but I'm not going to throw shade on you for not knowing that.
You do wear the skinniest jeans.
Yes, I do. That's how you know the coolest guy in the room is by the tightness of his jeans. All right, so I don't know that that's a rule or not, but we'll go with that. All right, that's going to have to do it for the entire podcast today. And as always, thank you so much for being potties.